membrane model. And to begin with, we have the phospholipid bilayer. This is only one half of the phospholipid bilayer, but on each phospholipid there is a polar region which is hydrophilic and a nonpolar region which is hydrophobic. On the phospholipid, there is an organic alcohol attached to the phosphate group, which is glycerol, and attached to glycerol are two fatty acids. The cholesterol is right there in our model, and these are in the hydrophobic region and on the fatty acid tail. These determine the membrane's fluidity, and that changes with temperature. And the change in temperature allows it to function at different temperatures. Plant cells don't have any cholesterol molecules. Instead, they have saturated or unsaturated fatty acids to control their temperature. So next we have the proteins, which we have color-coded for the proteins that are in our cell's model. And there are two types of proteins, integral proteins and peripheral proteins. Integral proteins have hydrophobic and hydrophilic regions. The hydrophobic regions are in the midsection of the phospholipid backbone, whereas the hydrophilic are exposed to water solutions. And then peripheral proteins don't protrude into the middle of the hydrophobic region, and they're bound to the surface of the membrane and anchored to an integral protein. Then there are four sites. So proteins that have hormone binding sites have specific shapes which are exposed to the exterior, and these fit the shapes of specific hormones. And then when these guys attach, it causes a change in the shape of the protein, and this makes a message be relayed to the interior of the cell. And then secondly, cell adhesion is when proteins hook together in various ways, and this provides permanent or temporary connections, and they're referred to as junctions, and they can include gap junctions and tight junctions. Next is cell-to-cell communication, and this is when proteins have carbohydrate molecules attached to them, and they provide an identification label, and that represents the cells of different types of species. And then lastly, channel proteins span throughout the membrane, and it provides passageways for substances to move through. When passive transport occurs, the material moves from high concentration to low concentration, and in active transport, it shuttles a protein. So in active transport, the substance goes against the concentration gradient, and this requires energy in the form of ATP.